minimize that. Huh. There we go. Okay, so here's my blank document. And under View, you will find where you have Read, Print Out, Web Layout, and Outline, the Outline button. And once you click the Outline button on, your ribbon up the top changes. And you can see with levels, you can have 9 levels, text, body text, and that's the different levels of your outline that you could have. And I'm not very creative sometimes when I'm thinking about what to type. So I have this that I just typed in there, and if I go back to Close Document, notice it's in blue, and typically your print will be in black. I'm going to put Design here. Oops. And click on a style. And this will change it. Now if I go back to View and Outline, it has that there. If I go to Show Document, oops. Well, it gives you a different style to it. One of the other documents that I played with this afternoon, okay. This is where it changed it for me, and you can see the different outline. This was a very in-depth document. The page, the section breaks are just the different places within that you would have your different headings in it. If I go back to Home and take off and look at Print Outline, it ends up looking like that. Outline format, unless you're really, your job really is intense where you're doing a lot of outlines, it's not something that most people use on a regular basis. It really kind of is something job specific. Most people end up creating numbers and bullets just from the home screen up here and using these items right there. So I'm going to erase what I have here. I think I am. Actually, I go back to the other page and make it easier for myself. Delete that and share. New share. So, if I wanted to make a listing of items, let's say carrots, onions, potatoes, and I'm just randomly coming up with, that's what's cooking right now. I would highlight them, go up to home, and put the number on it. Now that number function, if you look at it, you can change the way things are listed. You can have it with the parentheses by the number, or you could change it to the alphabet. You can see here, you can also change it like that. You could have create your own outline as you go. You can see my cursor is behind the S right now in the word carrots. If I hit enter, it automatically adds that number in there, and everything below it changes. So I'm going to say strawberries right here. I'm just coming up with simple single words, and every time I type, the new Roman numeral appears. Fish, meat, eggs. It just keeps doing that. Now, if I wanted to add something under the word carrots, let's say actually description of carrot, saying that it's orange, vitamin A. These are things that are good in carrots, some kind of description. I come back up here and I just tab over using this increase tab. It changes it to the outline form, what would naturally be in an outline. So, most people find it that, creating an outline, probably easier to do it this way than to set it up, the document. And it really depends on where you work and what you're doing. So this is the numbering and outlining, but you can also change it differently to having bullets. I'm going to highlight the area again, go back up to the home, go across my ribbon and select bullets. That put bullets in there. Notice the items that I had indented, they have a different type of bullet because they're in a little bit. Strawberries, I'm going to stick behind there and write down red, June. And again, if I indent it, it automatically makes it like they are above in carrots. The spacing too, you notice the spacing, I'm going to move the kind of point between the bullet and the first letter is all set up automatically for you. If you go up to your ruler, you can see that the spacing is set there. If I wanted to, this here, change this, I could move these in, or I could leave them right where they are. But this will help you when you're formatting things, and if you want something to stick out for people, if you need to make a list of some kind, a function that really is kind of easy to do and add to it. You can either do it as you go, and as I told you the first night of class, I tend to create the document, then go back and do the highlighting. And my highlighting would be, I would do my formatting. I would highlight it and then go back up here, click on what I wanted. Now I clicked on the drop-down box. If I wanted to put these in there, I could have arrows to it. So you can be as creative of however you want. And you can also, I'm going to highlight the lonely one that's sitting down here. Let's see if I can get him highlighted. And you can change the list level. You can define a new bullet. I click that on. I'm going to add a few more. Oops. No, I'm not going to add. Notice when I hit enter, I create one. If I go back up here behind eggs, I'm going to delete the one that's below it just by hitting delete. If I hit my enter twice, it automatically takes it away and shifts over to where the normal margin would normally be. So that is a cool function that you can use. Again, we have the different styles too with numbering. I can put them like that, and it can do that. You can see all the different types of numbering. As you're typing, well, I just showed you how you can turn it off by hitting it twice, or you could go back up here where I had typed, come back up here and just hit this and it turns it off. But now everything is like that. Put it back on. So that is easy to do. And then again, you also have the different types of bullets that they offer up. And you can also define new bullets and new kind of styles, which leads me into inserting. If you wanted different types of bullets, you can create different things by going into insert. And over here under symbols, they have a lot of different symbols that you can put. And these are pre-formatted already in it. But if you go to more symbols, here's where you have, I clicked on the more symbols, and you have a lot more symbols. This is in normal text, these symbols. You know how sometimes people have that mark over their letter, or if you wanted to put an inverted, you can use those. Notice the different accent marks for the different letters, depending on what it is. What is also really nice is that it comes in different formats of font, and you can scroll through and pick out Arial format. Let's see if they have the one that Stacy talked about last week, if it's in here. No, it's not. But I know that Times Roman is that people use quite often. So you have this in here too, and you can go through and see the different types of letters that you can pull out from there. You got the modified tone letters and such in there. Special characters. Here's another listing. Remember the first night I talked to you about the copyright? Copyright's right there. if I clicked on it, I could insert it like that. But also you can see they have shortcut keys. Here are some more shortcut keys for you. Copyright, Alt, Control C. So technically now you know 3 different ways to put that in there. Through the symbol itself, Alt, Control C, and using the parentheses C parentheses to get that in there. I do also want to show you here, and this is in your booklet. As you go down farther, you're going to find a section. This is kind of one of my favorite things, is Wingdings. These are different symbols, and typically Word has Wingdings. They have, used to have 3 different versions of Wingdings. They only have 1 here. So I'm going to go back to this one, and I'm going to pick a symbol out. And let's say this computer here. I'm going to create a shortcut key. I hit shortcut, and then with shortcut, if I can combine Control Alt, and let's say G, notice how that is right there. I clicked assign and I close. I'm going to close. Now when I hit, I'm going to go down a little bit, Control Alt G, that symbol, every time I hit, that symbol will appear. So you can create your own little shortcuts in Microsoft Office. And if that's what you wanted to use as your bullet, you could. You could set that up for your bullet if you would like. So that was, to me, I thought that was kind of a cool feature that you might find useful. Also in Microsoft Word, inserting. You can also insert hyperlinks into your document. Here under insert, see the hyperlink mark is right over here in the about the center of the ribbon. If I click that on, it automatically brings up the insert hyperlink. Off to the left-hand side, I can do an existing file or a web page. And actually, this brings up my files right here. I am going to go through and pick module 15 out. And I'm going to hit OK. So if I had been typing into my document, and especially if a document that I'm sharing with another coworker and we're both on the same network, and within our document that I sent off to my boss, and I was referring to this document here of module 15, I don't have to type it all out. I can just put it, that's where it is, then come to here, click on it, hit yes. He's reading it, he does that, and there is the document that I was referencing in what I wrote him so that he could go back and look at it. You can do that for any document that you have. Did you guys, were you able to see that? Okay, that happened. I didn't have to share the screen again. You can also, and I'm just going to come back up here, insert web pages too through this method too. Or in my case, what I normally do, nope, that won't do it. If I have to insert a web page, let's say I'm went off to the internet and I think I just stopped sharing. Is that true? No, you're still seeing everything? Good. All right. I go to FLCC's website. All I have to do is highlight up in the address bar, Control C. I go back to that document and do Control V. Right now, it is not a hyperlink. As soon as I hit enter, notice it changes color. It's blue. It now has an underline under.
We're not seeing it.
Oh, okay. Okay. When I first pasted that there, I'm going to do it again. See, I pasted it. I'd gone out the internet, highlighted the address I wanted to put into this document, came back to it, did Control V, and there it sits, but it's in black. The minute I hit my space bar or enter, it now has changed to blue and is underlined, and that tells me it's a hyperlink. And if I clicked on that, again down here, it takes me to the web page. And are you seeing that? Okay. And you can do that with any web page or any like article that you find on the web, or if you're emailing somebody and you cut and paste an address to a web page you want them to look at, you do that and that creates the hyperlink. Very simple. You don't have to be a computer genius to do that. Also, if you're sharing files and through an email and you want somebody to tell them where something is on your shared network, you cut and paste the drive from the address where you go and find the file, and you can paste it and it will automatically take your reader there once they click on it. So using a hyperlink is helpful. Using a text box. That takes us to templates and text, and within text box we're going to within templates we're going to be covering that. I'm going to close out this document and bring up a new one. I don't want to save that. And your screen has stopped as the sharing window is closed. Okay. Bring up a new Word document. Okay. Shoot. I think you guys will be able to see this. As I do this, let me know, which you always do if you can't see it. Under File, if you go to New, you have a ton of templates in Microsoft Word. Business, you click that on, and you'll have a whole bunch of templates that show up. What you might want to select. Let's say home business startup. I can customize this to.
We're not seeing the template. We're just seeing a blank page.
Okay. You know, I think that would be a nice feature that they could add to Zoom, is that if a person is sharing and doing something like this, it's constantly going along with the person. All right. I got this home-based business. Let's see. Yeah, I'm changing the name to my name. So you can use any of those templates that you like in Microsoft Office and customize them for yourself. They're preset in there, and you can do what you want with them. And what's really nice is that they have different calendars, they have different flyer layouts, things like that. You could also, like if you had your own business and you had special letterhead that you used, you could also create templates for your letterhead that in a company where you're saying that all our letters have to look like this format. So you create that template where you might have place that the time of the date is inserted, the address, the closing line, all of it set up. Save it as a template, and that way all your employees would be using the same type of format for their letters. And you can define your formats. And this is where you get into making sure that if you were to do that, is being really organized and with your way you track documents. I'm going to try something again. I'm going to walk you through it. I don't know if you're going to see it, so I may have to share it with you. But what I'm talking about is if I go down to the Windows icon and I right-click it and do File Explorer in my desktop, which you probably, am I still sharing my screen? Probably not.
You're sharing we're on the Mary Grattan's home business startup checklist.
Okay. Here is my desktop home screen under File. I went to Windows and brought it up. I want to show you that how I have things kind of organized here. I'm hoping if I click on this, it doesn't. You guys still seeing my desktop?
Yes.
Okay. I have, for this class, intermediate Word program, I've been saving things into different files for it. These are some added things that I haven't determined where I was going to stick them yet. But under Module 4, which we're doing today, this is where what I was playing with this afternoon, I stuck those things. If you choose to use templates, it really helps if you're very well organized in creating different files for it. And all I have to do is create a file, is right-click, and I can do New, hit Folder, and name it Extra Activities. And that would, then I would throw all these up in there, and it just makes everything neater. And it's about being organized and remembering where things are so that you and whoever else is sharing the files knows where to find things. And so that's where when creating templates, you probably would want to create a template folder, and then the documents within it. If you had a template for letterhead, you would name it letterhead template, brochure template, so that you had these constant documents that people had easy access to and that were you were able to find, and help standardizes everything else too. Also with this, I'm you can create your own templates as you would like.
Mary, can you show how to just make a simple letterhead, like
Oh
using
yeah,
a template? Just
yep. So I'm gonna go to a different document and new share, and let's see this Word document here. All right. I am creating my own new letterhead here. And I'm going to be a little fancy here. Oops. Oops. Yeah. So and I'm going to kind of just play around with a size on that. I want them to know my name more than my address. So I have this as, and maybe I wanted to insert something. Oh, I'll put a shape in here. Trying to make it look a little different. There we go. So now I could use this for my letterhead if I wanted to kind of standardize it. I probably, would do something a little bit different, but this was just kind of quick and easy. Then I would go to File and Save. And my first time saving it, I'm going to put it into my documents. And here I would put letterhead template. And then maybe put my name behind it and save it. And then every time I wanted to write a letter, I would just go to that template document, write my letter, but when if I am saving it as documentation that I wanted to keep it on file, I would go to File and Save as a new document, because I do not want to save it like that, because I want to go back to that template and use it over and over again. So this is a letter I sent to John Smith. I saved it as John Smith. And you'll see at the top here, it would say John Smith. That template letterhead is still in the file, and I can go back to it. I could even go back to it right now, open it up without leaving this John Smith document, and write a whole new letter that would be to, let's say, Jane Doe. And I would save that under Jane Doe. My template for the letterhead still there. John Smith's still there. Um, and the one thing about all this, it's all about keeping yourself organized, so that you can easily find things. And you set that up the best way that fits your style of working. I've seen people who've had desktops that they just save everything and they just put it to their desktop, but there's no rhyme and reason to what is there. And it makes it very difficult for people to find what they're looking for. And especially if you're trying to work together and you work on share drives, being organized is the number one thing that I think that a lot of people find difficult when you have somebody who's not organized and somebody else who is organized. It just kind of makes conflicts within the work environment on that. You okay, Stacy, with that? Was that
Yep.
okay?
Good. I just thought that would be helpful for people.
I have a question.
Yes, Lisa.
I didn't see you save the template as a template file.
I created my own name for it. If I go back to open, see I have letter template, Mary Grattan.
Yeah.
You don't have to save it as a template. You can name it whatever. And I chose to put my letter template right up here like that. And to be consistent, I would do that for, let's say, I would do brochure template M.E. Grattan for my business.
Yeah, you could even make a folder and call it templates, and then you could have template underscore and then letterhead, template underscore invoice, template underscore you know, whatever. And then you would know, okay, I got to write a letter. Let me go to my template folder and then pull the one you need.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just following the directions on page 69, and it says to save it as a DOTX.
And you can do that. And you can also do it this way. It all depends on you as an individual. How do you like to be organized?
Okay.
Okay, Lisa?
Yep.
We do quite often, we use numbers quite often. Like we have a lot of different programs in our department. And so we'll have program 1 and then the name of the program. Let's say home health aid, program 2, computers, program 3. So that the programs all end up, the name of it is program, and then they go in line in order of the number.
Mm-hmm.
Any, like if I created a folder and had a template folder and then had different names, brochure, letter, they would appear all in alphabetical order because that's what it's kind of, it's formatted to default to. But if you can go in and you can change the default to have it go backwards from Z to A. If you're using the same word over and over again in the beginning, you want to differentiate, and that's why we use numbers, because after the word program, you have numbers, and so they show up in order based on numbers. It's personalized on how you like to be organized.
One thing I just want to point out, it just popped in my head. When you're saving things, and maybe everybody already knows this, but in case you don't use any special symbols. Like don't put template, colon, and whatever, because that can cause problems.
Yeah, sometimes when saving documents, some of the special characters, they don't allow you to save them that way. And sometimes it can kind of corrupt the file so you can't get to it later. So, there's tips. And again, when working with people, you want to have kind of a standard format. And I don't know if I said this last week, but when you're doing the mail merges, and a lot of times people have Access is another Microsoft Word product that goes along with Word. Access is a database system where you can put in thousands and millions of names into it, a database. And what you have when you're collecting data, if you have different people putting information into a document, you'll find that a lot of times people, I personally like to, any letters that I'm writing to people, I'm kind of old fashioned. I like everything to be, you have the first letter of their name is a capital letter, then, Mary would be capital M, then small letter ARY. Some people will put that data in all in caps. Why that can be a problem is that when you have one person putting information in all caps, another person putting it in a more formal format, when the ultimate goal is next week, you're doing a mail merge of 10,000 names and spitting out 10,000 letters, one person has put it all in caps and one person has put it in formal, your letters are not consistent. And I look at people who send my letters. I mean, maybe I'm a little old fashioned, but I'm looking for proper use of writing styles, grammar, things like that. And there are things that I notice when a letter comes to me and it's all capitalized like that. I think to myself, that's, it's pretty much junk mail to me. I guess the way I look at it, it's one of those things that I'm not going to read that. And that, again, is a preference. Some people don't think that matters. To me, it does. All right. Now,
I have a question.
Yep.
So if you save something as a dot X, then does that prevent you from accidentally saving changes or information on your template?
As long as, well, in next week's session, we go over document protection and what that means and how you can set that up so nobody can make changes to your document. So can we put that for next week?
Okay.
The answer?
So does the .x stuff go with next week, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The next thing that is in the book on page 74, if you're following along, is working with comments, which I thought was, which I use quite often. And actually, it's very helpful when you have a big document and that you're sharing it with somebody else for proofreading reasons. So I'm going to bring up a new share. And I got to go get it first, though, and open it up. I'm letting you see the inner workings of the college. In some of the programs, we have big agreements. And
right now we're on your letterhead, just so you know.
Okay. Yep. So I got this new share. This agreement is 10 pages long. It's a legal document that anytime we have a program with This is an affiliation agreement with Geneva General Hospital for our phlebotomy program. And it really kind of states what the college is responsible for and what the Geneva General is, all to make the lawyers happy in this world. We have to go through this every time we have a new program where we have to send students to a new location based on what the program is. We have to create one of these. We have a standard format for it. What's nice is find and replace works here. Sometimes the county attorney, they add new wording to things, and when things get changed, we have to review it. And so under review, we have this section called comments. I click on comments. Now, my page off to the right has an area that I would be writing comments in. And hypothetically, or on occasion, let's see, I'm on page right here, and I wanted to write a new comment off to the side, and I have to move you ladies. I'm going to highlight this, go back up to review, hit on comments. I'm going to be sending this document to somebody else. And if I wanted to question them, should this go on page 6? I could do that. That's going to stay in that document. I send it to somebody else. They're reading it. They see that I've asked about that and should it go there. And then they can make the determination on whether or not it should be there, or maybe the wording should be changed. So if you're working with somebody else and collaborating with them on a document, you can have this comment feature on so that you can be sharing it and you can see what their thoughts are. For the person who's writing a book, if you have a proofreader or if you're reading it for having somebody read it for review, this is a great feature to use for them. So that does it. You can do that. You can add new comments at any time. Again, if you go under review, if I wanted to delete it, I come here, click on it, and hit delete, and it will delete that comment. Okay, and anybody that is reviewing this for you, by going to review, they don't have to read the whole document. They could just go through and hit next, and it will bring them to the next one. You can also track changes in your documents. Notice you can have lock tracking or track changes. I'm just going to put track changes on here. So if I come here and I add okay, notice I've added that and I hit enter, and so now the things are changing a little bit, and it's telling over here what's going on. You can see this, and sharing it with somebody else, they can see it. And this is a way that we collaborate together when things need to be changed. I can see what a person has changed, and if you go back up to review, you can accept the changes or you can reject them. If I hit reject, it takes me back up, and if I think I go back to review, it rejected and removed it. That's kind of, everything kind of moved really fast there, so you probably didn't get to see it, and I don't know how to make it go in slow motion. You want to do that and practice it on a document. Have some fun with it. You'll find that it's really kind of a very helpful thing for reviewing documents, and especially if somebody is proofreading your document, giving you suggestions. And you can do it electronically, so that if you're working with somebody that is in Pennsylvania, you're up here and you're sharing stuff, it makes it quite easy for proofreading and changing things. So that is a nice little feature on it. And you can hide your comments when you're doing it. If right now I click that on, but if I was to sending it, you can add, delete, previous, and you can even hide them when you go to send them off.
And you have up to more people making comments, like 4?
Oh yes. Every time somebody new opens the document, you can, it'll identify who made the changes. Let's say, was that Lisa who asked that question?
Yeah.
Okay. You, me, and Stacy are all sharing the same document and proofreading it. I could have comments and it would have my name on it because my computer is set up to identify me.
Yeah.
Your computer is set up to identify you.
Yeah.
It would have your comments would identify you, and Stacy's comments would identify her. So it really,
when does it come about that the document changes?
when you accept it, and
So the author has to accept it.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. And you kind of want that. It would make sense to me to want that, because then you just don't want anybody willy-nilly making changes if you're the author.
Right. So there's comments and then there are changes, and those are 2 different things.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Now, the next thing in the booklet that they talk about, I think at the end of this section, they do have you do a template and make a few changes to it, kind of practice it, those type of things. And for this group, you're going to take away what you want out of tonight and use it the way you need to for what you do, because not everybody uses all these type of things. The next item that I think I can do right within this document, if I go to the last page, I go to Control End. Okay, Control End. All right, I got another plain piece of paper in front of you. Here is the text section. We're going to do what they call working with building blocks. And many of us quite often have certain things that we have to constantly be using every once in a while, such as if you're writing a letter, you're always going to be putting your delete all comments. Your salutation, like yours. Where's my cursor? Right. I keep typing and it's going away. Oh, there it is. Down a little bit. So this is my and it rejected it. Okay. I'll do that again. Well, just even my name. I got that typed. I need to put this at the end of all my letters that I send out. And in insert, this button right here, if you click that on, you can do auto text. And create this. We're going to save it to selection to quick part gallery. So name, building blocks, insert content only. I hit OK. The next time I need to put my name into a document, all I have to do is come back over here, hit this, and auto text. And I got Mary Grattan. If you ended all your, if you had a business and you had a title underneath your name and you had to put that into all your letters that you're writing, you could set that up to have your name automatically appear by doing that, so you're not typing it over and over again. I think that would be a great use for if you're doing press releases, and most press releases have a boilerplate template about the organization. You could put that into one of these building blocks so that you don't have to retype it every time that you're doing a press release. Maybe if you were a description, you're doing a catalog of items that you sell, and you update your catalog, but you save your descriptions in a file somewhere. And if you put them under building blocks, you could be able to bring them up and put them into your document. So that is something that I could see of having value and using quite often, depending on how you do it. The person who does minutes for different boards that they're on, you normally sign, you put down respectively submitted and your name as the secretary. You can make one of these building blocks for that function on, and this would appear every time that you have different a document. You'd be able to pull that up because you've now put it into your Microsoft Word that feature on your computer, So it would be there for you. So that's something that I think would be of value for folks. So do you guys want to try that a little bit, just with your name on your computer? You want to take 5 minutes and give it a try? Can I see some nodding heads? I only see a few of you on my screen right now. Can you give it a try?
You could unmute to say yes. It's okay to unmute just to answer something.
I did it.
Ah, great.
Yeah. Now that'll stay there forever. I mean, I can use that. I can go to it again and again and again, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. And you know, those dialogue boxes, you could end up with a lot of them. It'll show you in the book that you're a sample, and it looks like they get about 10, I don't know, 15, 20 of them there that they're showing as somebody has built in. So if you have different things, like let's say you type letters to your friends, you sign them differently than you do if it's business, you could, separate them that way. So that leads us through actually all of what's in Module 5. I found Module 5 to be what I consider kind of boring, but you may find it differently. So I thought that to kind of make it a little bit more fun tonight, and especially the fact that I want to give you an assignment to do and come back and show us next week, I thought that we would skip, instead of going to Module 6, going to the place where they have extra time in your booklet. At least I had that in my booklet, and I hopefully in student guide. It says if you have time, it's on page 97. And this is word art and adding shapes. You saw me quickly add something when I was doing the letterhead, but we're going to play a little bit more with that type of stuff today. And again, I'm going to cancel out. I'm not going to save, but I'm going to bring up a new document. Just a plain Word document. Got that. So with Office or Word, you can insert a lot of different things. And under Insert on this ribbon, you see across the top, you got cover page, blank page. We've talked about those already. And actually tables. Did you all practice doing a table? Okay, pictures, online pictures, shapes. Microsoft has got built-in shapes. I quickly played with those a little bit. You can do smart art, charts, a screenshot. A screenshot could be of your computer screen if you're building a document of instructions. Okay, I wanted to take you over to this section over here under text, where we have a text box and we also have word art. This is word art here. If I click this on and I'm going to check that A right there, automatically a text box appears there and it says type your text there, and I'm going to do Happy Thanksgiving and type that right in there. And notice I'm going to make it bigger so that you can also, I'm going to make it bigger two ways. One is the screen, but also the font size. Hit enter. Nope. All right, so that's word art, and you can do a lot of different things with the word art. I'm going to highlight it and then right click it, and under font, I clicked on font I right clicked, chose fonts. See down here where it has text effects? I'm going to click that on. This gives me additional things that I can do to the text. Let's say they have the built-in blue color for that type of letters that I wanted. But if I wanted to change the color, I'd click on text fill and choose the color that I wanted, and I can do more colors. Let's go with a kind of an orange color. I hit OK and OK again. Now my letter, it has changed. Notice there's some shading behind it. That's the style that I picked. Well, I don't really like it that it's kind of an outline in blue. So I'm going to do the same thing again and hit font. And this time under text effects, I'm going to go to text outline. And for the outline, it has a solid line, color. I'm going to change that to a black. And I'm going to make it transparency a little bit to it. I'm going to hit OK and another OK. And now my text has changed again. So you can also, with this, I'm going to have a little bit more fun with it. Going to the same place again, right-clicking, going to font, hitting text effects. See where it has this other line here? I can add some more effects to it. I'm going to do glowing, and I'm going to increase that. And I'm also increase this a little bit too on there. Hit OK. Look what I've done. That is a built-in feature right in Microsoft Word. You don't have to be a graphic artist and use fancy graphic software. You can do it yourself. And it is kind of quick and easy to do. And you can have fun with it. Just like you can also add designs, insert shapes into your program, into whatever you're creating. let's say I wanted to add a banner. I'm going to make this banner pretty big. Again, I'm going to right click and new comment. Nope. I'm going to send it to the back. Look what I just did. By sending it to the back, I had laid it over that Happy Thanksgiving. I then took that banner that I put in there and right-clicked it, chose sending it to the back. So now that Happy Thanksgiving lays on top of that banner. I could have done the banner first, then put in the Happy Thanksgiving. You could do it in either order that you want to do it. If you know, and when you do things like that, depending on the order you would do, that's when you send it back or you send it forward. If I click this back on, you'll see that it's got send back or send to the back, send backwards, send behind the text, bring to the front. If I chose bring to the front, now my text is gone. You don't see it. The banner's on top. Okay, that's something that I'm going to leave you guys tonight. We're not going away yet, but I'm going to give you an assignment to do, and I'm hoping it is to do with word art. And next week, kind of at the end of the night, we'll share the different things that you guys created. This gives you, the word art gives you a little opportunity to be creative. I'm going to send that to the back again so we have that in front of us. Other things that you could do is, let's say you're, you know, some people do Christmas letters to folks, and if you wanted to share a picture with family members, you could also do that. You could just go to pictures, and on your computer you have pictures. I don't know if you're seeing my pictures, but I'm clicking one and it inserted it right into the document. It's very big. First snow crocus from last spring, but I can size that down and fit it right into any document that I'm doing. So I put it in front of the text, and now I'm bringing it down so I can see it. But I can adjust this to whatever I wanted to do with it. And you can do that with any image. You can go online and pick out images. If you are online and you right-click, highlight an image and right-click it, then you can copy it and take it with you to a document that you're working on, and then resize it. Again, we went over this before, but the resizing is just grabbing one of those circles. Once you have the image, you put on it, take the circle, one of the points that are on the outside of the image. If I wanted to twist it around, I would go like this and change the way it's laying out there. So these are things that you can do in Word. They can be fun, especially if you're working on flyers. again, you can use some of the templates they have, or you can create your own. And you can do different effects with everything that you have. Let's say if I, under design, and you go into shapes, there are plenty of different shapes that you can take. And I clicked on an arrow and I put it right there. Oops, there's my arrow. Again, these built-in shapes, you are allowed to change them. You can change the color of it. Where it says format shape, you got the fill, and you can change the color to whatever color you would like. Oh, get something. Notice it still has like a blue line, the outline, because that's what it originally came with. I'm going to click that back on and go to line, and I'm going to do no line. So there's no line around that arrow. And again, the arrow, the size can be, I can click on it, change it. I can change the direction that it's going to, or I could change it pointing at the flower. There we go. It's sitting there. These are all things that I hope that you practice and take advantage of that is in Word. Along with it, some of the text, I think I changed the text already, but I'm going to do a little bit more playing here. Let's see if we did a 3D style that we'll put the 3D across the bottom of the lettering. I don't think that is really that noticeable at all on that. But you would want to play with it and, you know, what you like and how you want to do it. Take the opportunity to look at these different things and play with them. And again, you can reshape it or resize it, or if I go back here, you can change the direction of it. Let's say I want it to rotate. I've just made it 90 degrees. Let's say I wanted to do my lettering and have it go down the side of, and I know I'm just clicking and going all over the place, but with that said, I'm just going to walk down and get another piece of paper up in front of us, a clean one. If I did word art again, let's see, an insert with word art, and well, I won't worry about that. Got that happy birthday, right? I go text back to the text. Let's say I wanted to do it horizontal. I could make it go all the way up on the border on the side. So if you were doing some kind of flyer and you wanted to have a message off to the side, you could do that, having it go that way, and then I could come over here and then do whatever typing I wanted to and have that laying over there. So that, I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now, but you can change the effects, and it's really a matter of you going in and playing with it and seeing what you can do with those features. I also want to show you a text box. If you go back to insert and you put in a text box, I'm going to select draw a text box. Click here. Now I have a text box here. Okay. So in my document, I wanted to kind of highlight something, have a little text box. I could throw that in there, and when I leave and step out of that box, it's got a border on it, and it will have a border on it. And I could take this text box, and you see the text follows the outline of the box wherever it goes. So I could place this. Let's say I was doing a birthday flyer and it was going to be a surprise party for somebody. And in the very bottom corner, I wanted to put a text box that maybe had information about who to call to RSVP. And I could put it down here in the bottom. So at the bottom of the page. And there it sits. And I could continue filling out whatever information I wanted. Kind of sets apart this information compared to the rest of the flyer. You know, and it can, whatever you put in there that's important. And again, text boxes, you can change them. You could put fill in there. I could fill it and make it colorful to grab people's attention. You can also, I'm right clicking and it gives me a lot of things to do to it. So you can add the color. You could also put a border around it too if you wanted to, or increase the border. So there's different things that you can do with a text box. And you can, again, size it up any way you want once you create it. And if you don't like what you've done, all you do is click on it, right click, and let's see, click on it again, oops, and have it move on you. And I can just cut it out and disappear with it and start over again and create a new one. So anytime that you have an image that you've inserted, whether it's a text box, a shape of some kind, you have the shape, you want to move it, you click on it and you drag it to wherever you want to place it. These little circles around the image allow you to resize it. Now this image here, I've put that image in. If I wanted to add text to it, I would probably more than likely go to a text box, draw a little text box within the image, and type what I wanted in here. I could click on this color. And have what I want there, change it whatever way I would like, and format the shape. I could fill it to, and I could even fill it to a different color if I wanted to kind of give it a little, yeah. A little contrast to it. So you can, I don't know, it has a lot of graphic features to it that are usable for somebody that you don't want to spend a lot of money and buy a graphic design program. And if you're just, fooling around with it, creating things that are not being judged, you're not a big industry doing a magazine or anything like that, you can have fun and create things on your own. And just kind of reviewing some of the, you rotate, you come up here to that circle, rotate it. See, the text box didn't come with it, and I'm going to rotate it like that. It's not actually very centered. When you click, see the word grouping here? That's how you lock both images together, is through grouping. Now, I held down the control key and left click, and notice that the buttons, the round circles, are on all the objects. If I right click and hit group, they're together now. So if I go to move them, they move together. All right, some of you guys liked your facial expressions. Candace and Mac Public Library 27. You can have fun with this. And that's what I want you to do. I have an assignment for you that I'm going to send it to Lisa right now. Not Lisa, Stacy. Let me send it off to Stacy, and then I'm going to kind of talk to you about it. And okay, I just sent the image to Stacy, or the assignment to Stacy. And
So the assignment is on its way to all of you in your email.
Are you seeing it now? Assignment 7, create a flyer assignment.
Yep.
Are
we
you
can
seeing
see
it?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And if you don't want to create a flyer for a company or a business, choose whatever you would like. Okay. If it's an invitation, you want to have a party of some kind, a one-page flyer, you have the tools in Microsoft Office to either use their graphics that they have in there, or you could go out to the web and copy and paste a picture from the web. If you have a photo that you really like and you want to put it in out of your own collection, do that. And I do want you to use some of the the things that you've gone over in this program. Some of the font styles, use something different. The borders and shading, just go with it. See what you can come up with and have some fun. And if you want to do more than one, please do. And you don't have to worry about, this is when I was teaching kids down here, they like to print out everything. You're at home, you can print out all you want. But, play with it. Because that's the best way to learn how to use it is to play with it. And maybe next time, Stacy has you create some flyers for the library.
Yeah.
Help her out a little bit.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any? I know we went over quite a bit actually today, and sometimes this type of format, you don't get the. I don't get to see you play as you go along, as if this was in real life, where you would be in front of a computer and you could all have some time playing with different things. Do you, have questions? Also for next week, if you'd like to send Stacy by Monday, anything else that you would like to know about Word, what we go over next week is document properties, checking word count, tracking changes, comparing documents, protecting a file, using the define feature, and text translation. They're okay. I don't know. Like I've used text translation when I've had some students that were foreign students and using it there. File protection, I've used that too. Tracking changes, we did a little bit on that too, but the word count, back when I was in college, I used to use that, and it helps when you have so many words that you have to have in an essay, trying to make that. But a lot of these things I don't use on a daily basis, and I don't think most people do either. And again, as far as protecting a file, it depends on the industry that you're in and how secure things have to be. The things that I do at work, yes, I save things for myself so that I can refer back to them, or maybe I'll be using it again. But as far as having things protected, I don't have to do that to the majority of the documents that I work with. So you think about what you might want to, what you didn't get out of these 4 weeks. Email Stacy by Monday. Stacy sends it to me, and I'll find the information that you might be interested in. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and my email is Macedon Library Director at owwl.org.
One thing though, I used to have it and I don't have it right handy, and I've been meaning to look it up. You know the shortcut keys that I gave you the first night, that one sheet?
Mhm.
There are a ton more. And there's some like music symbols. And I know that it's, if you hit Control Alt, and some of the numbers, they have different combinations, they come up with things. I used to have it was probably 2 pages of different shortcuts, and I have not been able to track that file down. But it's kind of fun because it's more images that you can use. Let's say you were doing a flyer that had music on it and you wanted to put the G clef and some notes on it. That these shortcuts pull them out automatically, Control Alt Delete, and the numbers, whatever they are, they appear, and you can make them larger, you can make them smaller. You can have lots of fun, change the color of them and such. You don't have to find the clip art for it. You can do it just right on your desktop.
Mary, I have a question.
Yes.
How do you get the buttons to hold if you're like changing to bold print or adding color? You know, it seems like when I was doing the exercise where I had to highlight and do the bold for today, I had to keep going up to the top to hit the bold or to the center.
Okay, you're still going to have to do that. Like what's right on the screen right now. I highlight it.
Mm-hmm.
I still have to go up to the top. It's all bolded right now. I'm going to well, I just bolded it. Let's say I was going to change the color. I have to do it at the top now because it is created. If I was typing along, the bold, I can do that by doing, see my cursor? If I do Control B, it's automatically bold.
Okay.
Undo it, Control B, and then it's normal text. So those, the shortcut keys, you do them as you go, but if you create a document and you want to change things, you got to highlight it, then go back up to the ribbon and make the changes up here.
Okay. But there's even when I change the font, when I'm typing like the minutes, because I'll have like new business will be bold, you know, semicolon, and then regular print for the information behind that. It just seems like I'm going up and down a lot, you know, changing.
If you wanted to, as you type, the shortcut keys work as you go.
Okay, so I like double.
You're on mute.
About the little rectangle box that shows up when you double click.
Okay, I'm sorry, but somehow you got on mute, so I didn't hear all that you were saying there.
Oh, the little box that shows up when you're typing if you double click. Is that what you're referring to? Yes, that one.
That one. Yeah, you can do it right. But that's part of this box up here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to have to highlight it and select what you want. when I say shortcut keys, that's the using the Control and B.
Oh, all right.
You know, that's using your fingers and not taking them off the keyboard.
Okay.
You got to do that as you go. The other way is to type it, then go back and highlight what you want to change.
Okay.
So, and it really, that's a preference, a personal preference. I know I go back to the fact that I type it, then I go back and change the format. But some people will prefer to do those changes as they go along and use the shortcut keys.
What don't you find that makes a big difference in your sizing or your, if you're trying to keep it on one page, that makes much of a difference? Typing it out and then going back?
No, and I think for me, in my former life, I did a lot of like brochures and newsletters and things like that. So through doing it and working with a printing company, that's kind of where I picked up the habit of typing it, then placing it or making those formatted changes. And it just works out better for me that way. And if you want one page, after I've gotten done typing and I go back and start formatting, and let's say I'm going over a little bit, I'll change the size of the font, I'll change the borders to kind of make it all work into one page. So again, I'm just going to say it's a personal preference.
Okay.
And, you know, like, I'm an old dog and you can't teach me new tricks. All right.
Thank you, Mary.
All right. Anybody else? Nope.
Really
All
enjoy
right.
it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed visiting with you and doing this. I wish we really could be in person because it really would give you the opportunity to play more with it and walk. You know, you're trying to listen to me. Some of you are trying to also do it as you go, but it makes it a little bit harder on the Zoom thing to do that. But I appreciate it all. And so next week, please, we'll spend the last half hour having you. Stacy, you're going to make me the host, right?
Right.
But I'll be able to allow them, giving them permission to share their screens.
Let me see.
Say hi, Ray.
You could make them a co-host. So if you look at, I'm just going to explain it to you now while you have people that you can try it. So if you go to, let's say, Sharon's little box, and the little box that has 3 little dots in it.
Yep.
If you click on her box of 3 little dots, you could make Sharon the co-host, and then you could try to walk her through sharing the screen.
I don't see when I do that.
You don't see make co-host?
Nope. I see stop video chat, rename, pin video, spotlight video.
Well, if I make you host before I leave, you'll see it. So you would make her co-host, and then she would be able to share her screen. And then when Sharon's turn is over, you would do the same thing to whoever the next person you want to do it to is.
Okay.
I think that should work. You want me to try it? Let's just try it. Okay. Does anybody else know how to share their screen? Well, I'm going to pick on Sharon because... Okay, Sharon, you're a co-host now, so you should be able to share your screen. Do you have anything, were you working along with us?
Which Sharon?
Oh, I'm sorry, Sharon Lockemeyer, MacPub.
At the bottom, it says share screen in green.
Right, so
Do
you
I
have,
click on that?
you're gonna click on click on the green arrow in the little green box.
Okay.
And then you should get a view of anything that's open on your laptop.
I have select a window or an application that you want to share.
Click something and we'll tell you what happens. It's not gonna break anything.
Not my computer.
It's mine, so it's okay.
No. I'm clicking, let's see.
Yes.
There. So
Yes,
that
there
was,
it
Yes.
yep.
We see your
That was that was still in back of the Zoom meeting you're in. So yeah. So
Am I on the screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I can't see anything. Zoom wants to open a Zoom.
So if you guys do all your homework for next week, you should be able to have your document open, your flyer you're gonna make, your poster. Have it open before you join the meeting. Just have it open on your, just have it open and then open a new tab and go to your Zoom meeting, okay? And then when Mary makes you the co-host, you'll be able to share your flyer, which will be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, by the time you're done, you're going to be tech savvy that you'll be able to show your grandchildren something.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that
you'll
would
know how
be
to
a
share your
first.
screen. They probably don't know how to do it. They just are the receivers of shared screens, mostly, probably.
Uh,
All right. All right. So good night and have fun.
All right, thanks, bye.
Bye.
Have a nice rest of your night.
Bye-bye.